go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio.
Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to the first episode of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show in May of 2015. With me tonight again is Edward Smith. How you doing?
Doing fine, Taylor. How about yourself?
Good. And if anybody has any opinions on what we're talking about tonight, we can call it. You can call in at 646-478-4837. That is 646-478-4837. 2 guidelines here. Make sure you tell us your name, city, and state, and keep your content clean. Tonight we're going to talk about the Tigers, some Lions NFL draft, plus a couple Wings notes, and we're going to squeeze in the Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao boxing match tomorrow night. Is it on pay-per-view or is it on HBO? Which is it?
It will be pay-per-view. Mayweather versus Pacquiao will be a joint pay-per-view production by both HBO and Showtime.
All right. Thank you very much. You heard it, fans. The Mayweather Pacquiao fight will be on pay-per-view tomorrow night. What time is it? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
Well, the broadcast itself is going to be start at 9 in the east, 6 in the west, and of course to accommodate Pacific time, since it's going to be in Vegas. At the very earliest, we won't see the main event festivities till about 11. Due to have to cover undercard fights. So at the very earliest, main event festivities at 11 o'clock.
Okay, 11 p.m. Eastern. So tune in at 11 p.m. Eastern for those in the East Coast to pay-per-view. If you have enough money, tune in.
Let me know. It's going to be pretty penny.
Yep.
It's going to be around $89.95. That's for standard definition, folks. That means you're going to have to pay a good $10 more to see it in HD, which rounds to about $100. You ain't got rent to pay or bill to pay. They have at it.
First off, we're going to recap the Tigers-Royals second game of the series. Royals win again 4-1. Tigers pitchers hold the Royals to 4 runs this time, but the Tigers offense still manages to manufacture just 1 run for the second game in a row. But like you said before the show, it's only a month in, and it's the first day of May, and we're gonna let the we're gonna let the nature take its course. But what do the Tigers need to do to improve their offense so they can make this less of a concern?
Well, I mentioned before that sometimes, now granted, it's a double-edged sword, because I mentioned last night of how you can't wait to get behind these 3-4 hole ruts early on in the game, where you gotta be the team that strikes first. But then again, at the same token, you gotta depend on your pitching, rely on your starting pitcher that night to make sure he doesn't put you in that hole to begin with. Same thing with defense, but it starts and ends with the pitcher. So there's that. And granted, I don't have proper connection on me to see the video replays or watch the game pitch by pitch. But if it comes down to you got to be more patient at the plate, or don't swing at bad pitches, or the basic fundamentals that comes to batting, or don't hit into timely or rather untimely double plays that kill momentum. Like for instance, you have bases loaded, even though you finally break the no-hit bid in the 8th, you got a run in, you got bases loaded, Victor hits a fly out the left center. So you can't have those kind of momentum killing at bats, because if Victor was able to produce a line drive single that scored 2, now it really puts the pressure inning over, and now is your last gasp for trying to get back in this game. But like you said, Taylor, it's May. It's not like it's late June, early June or late July. It just turned May 1st. So I'm not gonna freak out and panic out over about now. It's a long season, 162 game season. Just got to go with the flow at this point and hope that things progress and nurture into a well-polished product by season's end.
On the positive side of the Tigers offense, they didn't get shut out. Anthony Ghost got himself an RBI on a 1-6-3 ground out. Taking a look at the box score, Ghost is batting .291. He went 0 for 4, but he picked up himself an RBI, but he struck out twice. And Jose Iglesias went 1 for 4. He's still batting .370. That's pretty good. Ghost is
very good considering how Iggy is not known to be he's known to be a slapstick, the slapstick hitter where he relies on hitting weak grounders and just beating on base. So for him hitting the 300s as batting average so far, good for him, good for Iglesias.
Yep, that is right. Looking ahead to tomorrow's game at 7:10, David Price will take on Volquez. Let's see here. Lineup's currently unavailable, but here we go. Loading up Volquez's first name. It is Edinson Volquez. He's got another. Here's another guy with a low ERA, 2-2 record in 28 and a third innings pitched, 23 strikeouts. David Price is 2-1 with a 3.48 ERA. What does Edinson Volquez bring to the table?
Well, I'll be quite honest. I have studied anything very little to know about any other pitcher spot or teams rather, besides the ones we cover. But I expect him to possibly try to bring it to the Tigers the way the two pitchers, Duffy and Young, have brought it to us tonight, the past couple of nights. And it's going to be. I can't believe it's not like it's a tough outing rather, because it's not like these are world beaters, but you don't want to sleep on them. Price, I mentioned before, I'll mention it again. We're going to have to rely on his start to good chunk this season, like we did for Orlando 2011, because I relied on him to keep us in the game as much as possible, and then hopefully the offense will find a way to eke out at least 2 runs or something, maybe 3 runs, so we can get a win, because you want to at least keep the damage as minimal as possible. Okay, Casey's taking these first 2 games. Don't let him get on a romp here, especially this early in the season where they can establish momentum and help carry with them throughout the rest of the way. Because who knows, this division race, it could come down to September again, like it has been the past couple of years. So you depend on your horse, your ace, David Price, to stop the bleeding. Tomorrow night, hope your offense wakes up a little bit and hope for a win. That's all I can offer for that, and as an outlook for tomorrow night.
Royals have a first place lead by 1.5 games over the Tigers in the American League Central Division. Tigers look to catch up in the series by evening and retake first place by evening this 4-game series before they head to Chicago. Anybody else have any opinions on the Tigers? Calling it 646-478-4837. That is 646-478-4837. Let's jump to the second and third rounds of the NFL draft. The Lions select a very fast running back, an Amir Abdul. That's what he is. That's what his name is, right?
Amir Abdullah out of Nebraska, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, and then they traded up and got themselves a cornerback. Let me see here.
Alex Carter from Stanford.
Alex Carter from Stanford.
He was looked at as a safety, but it's a corner nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought those I thought those two picks were really good. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mentioned last night that it would not have surprised me if the Lions within the second or third round had picked, a running back as one of their picks. I kind of see the reason why, because it fits in with what they did last night, picking up Manny Ramirez and via trade, and Lakin Tomlinson with the first round selection. Okay, you got your offensive line out the way. Now you figured let's get a running back to put behind it so we can help establish our running game, because it was a bit weak last year, and I think I'm just giving you what I think might be going on the top of the Lions' minds. Looking at Abdullah's size, his speed, his style, they think of him as a way to complement Joy Bell. He's the ground and pound back, the third and one, the short down back, whereas Abdullah will be your speedster. He'll be your screen guy. He'd be, just your guy in open space, like Reggie Bush was last year. Unfortunately, he fumbled too much. And that's the same thing, unfortunately, that I see here with Abdullah. He ranked, his fumbles per touch ratio when he was in college was about, 30, 35 point something. Not very good, especially if you're a running back. Certainly if you're a running back. But we'll see what happens with that. Hope it goes well, as we all do with these picks. The second pick, Carter was it? Carter. Keep thinking about his cross for some reason. Excuse me. It was Carter. I did mention before the Lions need to find a way to address their needs in improving their secondary. I have been hoping and begging for this for years and years in the draft. Once again, they do pick up the corner, but it's not exactly first round, even second round, third round. They always seem to do this in the mid rounds. Pick a corner. We hope it works out, and hopefully it's a young guy that you can use to scope and build into one of your starters, and that can help lead you for the next few years. That being said, there's still other things you need to address, in my view at least, such as, can you find a way, is there any available good defensive linemen, and within these rounds tomorrow night, and tomorrow afternoon rather, that you can pick up, because you're gonna have to need some replacement guys. Yeah, I like the fact that you picked up a Lodi Nada, but you still lost Dominican Sue and Nick Fairley. So you're going to have to get some help for that defensive line as much as possible.
I have to agree. I have to agree with the Sue and Fairley part. Those two picks that the Lions made today were very good, and you described them very well. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on those two picks? 646-478-4837. That is 646-478-4837. Make sure you give us your name, city, and state, and keep all your content clean. Let's go to a couple Red Wings breaking news notes. Mike Babcock, the head coach, says he hasn't made a decision on the future. General Manager Ken Holland says he will meet with Babcock in the next 10 days. They are targeting May, that's this month, to negotiate with Mike Babcock. And it seems like Ken Holland wants Mike Babcock to stay with the Red Wings, but that's still Babcock's decision. And most people still think Babcock wants to Babcock is going elsewhere, especially to Toronto. What are your thoughts?
Well, Taylor, since you brought up the fact that Holland has appeared to be more willing to want to bring Babcock back, I guess we can rule out the chance at firing Babcock. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's all Babcock's choice, because he's not contractually obligated. His contract expires this summer. So he has every right to either want to stay and sign a new contract or leave and take his talents elsewhere. I keep hearing Toronto. So if that is the destination spot, okay, head up the chalk. But I wouldn't rule out, any of these teams like maybe in Ottawa or Pittsburgh or something like that. But it seems to be the consensus will be Toronto. So, I think, like I mentioned before, stated on Twitter, you know, a good majority of players, especially Datsuk and Zetterberg, do not like Babcock. So if your best players don't like your coach, it's one thing to not like your coach, but you still find a way to put up with them and play well for them. That hasn't happened, obviously, as you can see the past few seasons. So, in my view, a new voice is going to be needed behind that bench.
Yeah, agreed. Jeff Blashill, for example.
Exactly. He seems to be the guy whose name always keeps going up as in terms of potential replacements for Babcock. So if he's the guy, my hats off to him, and best of luck, best of wishes. He'll help us lead us towards another cup in the next few years. I want to keep waiting and waiting, because as soon as you know it, it's going to be 10 years until we last won a cup. So I don't, call me spoiled, call me whatever, but I've grown into the mindset now where you built this Red Wings franchise, this brand, it's such a recognizable name, and you're known now, like in this day and age, like what you have done the past 20 years in terms of winning and competing for championships. First and second round exits just aren't going to cut it.
Nope.
You got to make deep playoff runs as much as possible, and not frequently. Not consecutively, but as frequent as possible. So if Blashill is the guy, I would expect them at least to try. I'm not saying they're going to, but at least try to make it to the conference final next year. At best, because I don't think their ceiling is as high right now to be, oh man, they're a Stanley Cup threat. No. I think their ceiling next year, try to get to the conference final and pull the dice from there.
So the players such as Datsuk and Zetterberg don't like Mike Babcock. Ken Holland still likes Mike Babcock. The players have to talk to the general manager and tell him we've had enough of Babcock. He's just not directing us meddling in the right direction. How will Holland respond to the players if they say that to him?
Well, like I said, since Holland is known to be such a guy that wants to be loyal to all the people that he signed and these contracts to, he probably won't fire Babcock, but I think he'll respect Babcock's decision if he decides to leave, and just let it be at that. Especially if he listens to his players and they talk to him and converse with them. Got to have to respect his players' wishes, because they're the ones that put the butts in the seats and putting their bodies out there and making do whatever, doing that grind night in and night out to have as successful a season as possible. So if they have that conversation, Holland's just going to have to listen, suck it up and respect those players' wishes, and just tell Mike, hey, listen, appreciate all that you've done for us these past several years. You brought us a cup, all that good stuff. But I think it's in the best interest of not just us, also yourself as well, that we both move in different and separate directions. That's all there is to it.
So for Jimmy Howard, I heard that he wants to. He doesn't want to be. He says he doesn't want to be traded. He wants to stay in Detroit and compete for the starting goaltender job again against Peter Mrazek. We all know Peter Mrazek is still going to whoop Jimmy Howard's butt and be the number one guy and have Howard as a backup if possible. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've said it before, I'm a Jimmy Howard fan, big time, through and through. I always have faith and belief in him. And the best I can say is best of luck, because seeing what Mrazek has done late in the season when he came in for Jimmy, especially what he did in the series against Tampa, you'd be hard pressed to find a majority of people that still say, oh yeah, but Jimmy's our goalie, he's going to be our starting goalie next year. No, in my opinion, his job is Mrazek's to lose, and if Howard, shows up, the camp or whatever in the preseason and shows us something new and improved, and shows us, and not even that, just in the regular season period, that shows the consistency of, hey, start me a couple nights here and there. I'll stand on my head. I'll stop 20, 30 shots, keep it as close as possible. Make it a one-goal game. Give us as best chance as possible. If he can do that on a consistent basis, then sure, why not give him another shot? But at this point, point, it's the Peter Mrazek show. So let's go with Jimmy, but you're gonna have to take it from Mrazek. He's not gonna give it to you. You're gonna have to take it from him.
Yeah, I have to agree. I believe Howard will serve the rest of his contract in Detroit as a backup goaltender behind Peter Mrazek. Mrazek's been the show lately for the Wing Wheelers. Thoughts on the Wings? 646-478-4837. That is 646-478-4837. Name, city, and state. Keep all your content clean. You know where that leads us, Edward.
Oh, yes. Do you mind if I take over from here, buddy?
Yep. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Take it away, Edward.
Absolutely. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women and children of all ages. We sit here now, less than 24 hours away from quite literally the biggest fight boxing event we will ever see in our lifetime. The biggest fight in at least the past 4 decades since the first clash between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier at Madison Square Garden. It is Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao live from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. This fight will be contested at the welterweight limit, even though both men weighed at under 147 tonight at the weigh-ins. This fight will be for Pacquiao's WBO welterweight title and Mayweather's WBA and WBC welterweight titles. There will be a welterweight unification bout, but more so than that, it's beyond the alphabet soup belt. It's about who is truly the pound-for-pound best in the world, not just for this year or this month or whatever, for this era, for this generation. In the past several years, fans have been waiting and begging and building anticipation on this simple question: who's better, Mayweather or Pacquiao? Tomorrow night, we're finally going to get that choice. Granted, it wasn't easy. It's been a long, long road. Initially, they were going to fight each other in 2010. Talks break down after Mayweather put in specific demands for drug testing. Pacquiao declined. Talks broke down from there. Over the past several years, multiple attempts have been made through different negotiations, all falling through. Meanwhile, each fighter has fought different guys. Some of them have been common opponents. Before the talk of this mega fight happening, both had fought Oscar De La Hoya. Both had fought Ricky Hatton. Mayweather decision, De La Hoya split decision. Pacquiao beat down De La Hoya savagely, made him retire on his stool after 8 rounds. Mayweather TKO'd Ricky Hatton in the 10th round. Pacquiao knocked him out cold in round 2. But since then, they've had the common opponents, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Juan Manuel Marquez. Both Mayweather and Pacquiao decision out in outclass Mosley, even though Pacquiao knocked Mosley down. Both got victories. Miguel Cotto. Pacquiao beat down Cotto, got a 12-round stoppage of him. Mayweather got a unanimous decision victory over Cotto. Both had fought Juan Manuel Marquez. Mayweather easily outclassed Marquez in 2009. Pacquiao, as you know, has had his long historic saga, a router of fights with Marquez that started in 2004 and culminated in December 2012 with a vicious one-punch counter right-hand knockout that put Pacquiao on his face and out cold, and the internet had a world of fun with that. But since then, Pacquiao, he has recovered. He has recovered very well, in fact, winning his last 3 fights in a row, 2013 against Brandon Rios, and in 2014, he got his revenge in a rematch against Timothy Bradley from their highly, highly disputed June 2012 bout when Bradley won a controversial split decision. And in November of 2014, Pacquiao won a lopsided rout against undefeated Chris Algieri, knocking him down 6 times in the process. This will be a joint production via HBO and Showtime, since Mayweather works exclusively with Showtime, Pacquiao with HBO. Mayweather will be the A side of the promotion. His name will come first. He'll be introduced last. And he will also get the lion's share of the purse, 60-40. And knowing that the proposed in terms of revenue that's going to bring in, that despite potentially close to, if not over $400 million, that's a lot of money. Style differential. Mayweather's the orthodox fighter. defense, pure boxing. Pacquiao is the slugger, southpaw, offense, volume puncher. But the thing they both share is, though, both Mayweather and Pacquiao have tremendous speed. Mayweather has quick hands. Pacquiao has quick hands. Some will say even quicker. Some will say even quicker of foot. Pacquiao has tremendous footwork and can cut at unique angles to hit you and hurt you with punches you don't see coming. So, then again, Pacquiao has had trouble in the past with guys who are able to move around well, not trade with him, and counterpunch and box with him effectively. Most notably, Juan Manuel Marquez, who Mayweather outclassed in 2009. So it's really, I think it's safe to say, it's going to be the toughest fight of each other guy's career. And, it's probably could lead to a swan song for either fighter. Mayweather has said no matter the result tomorrow night, there will be no rematch. His contract with Showtime expires in September of this year, and he has more than indicated on multiple occasions that after his contract expires, he will retire from the sport. Pacquiao, we don't know for sure. I believe his contract with Top Rank and Bob Arum runs through next year. But either way, this is sitting on the twilight of both these guys' careers. I will not be joining Taylor tomorrow night because, I will be watching the fight at a local bar tavern. I'm going to enjoy me some good wings, good food, watch a tasty beverage, and just enjoy the moment of the spectacle that this event can only bring together both hardcore fans and casual fans alike. As to who I think I will win, well, Taylor, I'll let you pick first, and then I'll give my prediction.
Well, I think Floyd Mayweather is too good. Pacquiao can put up a good fight, but I'm picking Floyd Mayweather to take this one, the Grand Rapids native.
Yep, Grand Rapids native. Can't forget that. So it does have some local ties to this one, gentlemen. All right, ladies and gents, rather. All right, Taylor, you're picking Floyd. Me, I've been so back and forth and flip-flopping with this. Despite my personal feelings on what Mayweather is as a human being outside the ring, there's no detract in history of domestic violence, how he just flaunts his money around with just no care in the world, whatever. And of course, this cocky, arrogant persona they always portray. But it's mainly the domestic violence issues I have my troubles with on Floyd. I can't deny the fact that he is talented, he is God-gifted, he is a tremendous boxer and athlete. There is a reason why he is undefeated, 47-0. There's a reason why he proclaims himself to be TBE, the best ever. That being said, Manny Pacquiao is no joke. Okay, he has not just a tremendous slugger. He has his own unique ability to box and move and just fight his own style. This fight could go multiple ways. I'll say my prediction is like how Oscar De La Hoya said it. Head says Mayweather, heart says Pacquiao. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say Manny Pacquiao picks up the split decision victory, 115-113 over Floyd Mayweather Jr. And if by chance Pacquiao scores a knockdown, not a knockout, but a knockdown at any point during the fight, it will be an eruption will mount from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas and will be heard all around the world. But I'm just going to go with my heart, go with my gut, and pick Pacquiao to beat Mayweather by split decision. And of course, the thing about it is, if that's the case, they'll have a rematch and they'll make even more money, potentially $1 billion. Who wouldn't pass that up? So, go Pacquiao.
60 seconds.
All right. I pick Floyd Mayweather. You pick Pacquiao. Well, may the best man win. Thanks for being on here, Edward. I will talk to you Sunday night. I will try to fly solo as best I can.
Good luck, Taylor. I have faith in you.
Yep. Thanks. And that does it for another episode of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show for May 1st, 2015 at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm Taylor Phillips. I will talk to you tomorrow night at 11. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.